This is my character rig of a gecko. I modeled it and textured it in Substance Painter and created the rig. You can look at the skeleton here. And then I've created the controllers for that rig as well. I'm going to just show you this rig really quickly, and then I'd like to use this video to animate the face using blend shapes. So each one I have an IK handle controller for each arm and leg, and I have the corresponding pole vector controls as well that allow us to determine the angle of those um, of the center joint of the IK handle. And then all of these yellow controls here are connected to parent control to the different parts of the spine. So I will actually, let's go and say select everything in the hierarchy and zero everything out. And let me just show you quickly the skin weights for this because the skin weights I think are really refined for this model. So I'm just going to click on the Gecko Geo here and go to its Paint Skin Weights tool. And I'm just going to show you what the skin weights look like for this model. And I did a lot of smoothing here between different values, mirrored the skin weights across the model, and then I would use the replace with a value of 0 or replace with an opacity of maybe 0.5 and a value of 1 to change what those values are. But this looks pretty good for this rig. This is the back knee and the back ankle and the back hand, which then I have all of these other joints here. And if I wanted to get really refined, I can create animations and controllers for each one of these fingers, which I have not done. Let's look at the front hand for a moment. Let's look at spine lower, spine mid, spine upper. Then we have the shoulders, left shoulder, the right shoulder looks really similar, the knee, and then the wrist, and then the hand, and every joint in the hand is going to cover all of that hand motion. The neck here, right? And the neck is controlling all of the face. So, we really want to paint with a value of opacity of 1 and a value of 1 for that neck joint, every component or every vertice here in the head, because the neck is going to control the entire head. So when we go to animate the head, we're going to use something called blend shape. So let me show you what that looks like now. The head doesn't have any, the head bone is just this end bone here as an extension of the neck. And then we have these eye bones. They also should not really be affecting anything in the this is very, very little influence, and really that's just the neck and a continuation of the neck's influence over the head. So these bones here, they don't really do anything either other than be locators for those eyeballs. Okay, so let's show you how to um, create some face deformations with blend shape. So what I'm going to do is grab this do not touch rig here, and I'm going to duplicate it. And then I'm going to move it out of the way. And what really the only thing that was duplicated over here is maybe the skeleton. I'm going to turn off the joints here. And then we have the model itself. So to use blend shapes, we need to modify duplicates of the original model and change the position of some of the vertices and some of the components in the model and reposition them to give different facial expressions. So I'll do one with a closed mouth, and then I'll also do one where the eyes are maybe blinking. So to start with the mouth, I'm going to right click and go to my face mode here. And I'm also working with my symmetry under Object X on because the symmetry is over the X axis here. And let me go ahead and click something in the center and just hit F to frame that up so I'm panning around the mouth. I'm going to go to hit the Q key to select, and if you have good topology, we should be able to shift click and double click and start selecting edge loops within the mouth. So to reposition the mouth in a closed position, I'm going to select all of the faces that are here along the bottom jaw. And this is where I might want to now use this paint selection tool and just paint a selection of these faces that I want to include. Okay, and I think I have every face. I'm going to hit 4 for wireframe mode just to make sure that I've selected everything in that lower jaw, all of that geometry. And I can go back to 6 now. Now what I'd like to do is reposition this in a closed position. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the rotate tool here. But I'm going to turn off actually symmetry at this time so that I can, I'm actually going to start with the move so that this pivot is in the center of all of those faces. However, if I want to rotate them, um, I want to rotate it from where that jaw would hinge, which is back here. So the first thing I'm going to do is hit D, and for the time being, I'm going to reposition the pivot right here in the back of where the jaw would be rotating from. Hit D again, and now I can position these faces in a closed mouth position. I might also want to just move them back a little bit and rotate again, maybe just a tiny bit more, something like that. And now I have my gecko has a closed mouth, and so I'm going to use this as a blend shape. So to map this expression onto the character model itself, I'm going to select that character model, and I'm going to go up to Windows, Animation Editor, Shape Editor. And under the shape editor, this is where we can add blend shapes. And so what I'll do is then first I'll select this geometry, and then I'll select the geometry I want to map it to, and then I'll say create blend shape. And now you'll see on our original model, can I move this out of the way? I can change that position of those vertices, and now it's mapped onto the original character rig. So what I can do here is in my attribute editor, we now see that we have a blend shape node here. And in the time slider, if I want to, let's say, key or animate this mouth opening and closing, I would set keys in this channel. So maybe set a key there. Move forward a couple keys, maybe to key 10. Change this value to 1. Set key, right click and set key. And now I have this opening and closing. Maybe now at 25, we can open the mouth again, set key. So let's watch what this looks like. And make sure I'm pivoting around this character. There we are. And press play. Okay, so now that's animated. The original, this duplicated mesh in which we've made the adjustments here, does not animate. So we're mapping the repositioning of these vertices that we've done in this model onto this model, and because they're the exact same, a duplication of this model to this one, we have that blend shape is able to happen. So let's do another one. Now I'm going to duplicate this again, Command D, and let's move it out of the way, and we can work on this model next. And so for this model, I'm going to turn back my symmetry back on, Object Z. I'm going to hit F. Let's maybe select this eye and hit F. So, and right click. And I'm going to work with edge mode this time and make sure that I'm working with symmetry on. I'm going to hit Q, and I'm going to double click, shift and double click around that eye, that edge loop. And I have the same thing here. So I'm working with both of my, sides of this model at the same time to create a blink animation. So now what I'll do is I will kind of reposition these vertices and make this eye kind of blink. Let's see, something like that where it's totally closed. I'm going to move them maybe. Now I can see that some of these vertices are like overlapping now a little bit. And so maybe I will start to close this eye and then reposition some of the vertices here. So let's maybe select this loop of vertices and move them back a little bit into the eye. Um, this loop of vertices we can move out perhaps a little bit, and then let's close them. And we may want to bring this other loop down, so it's going to be a kind of working around the model. We also can also be working with transform the selection, a transform constraint. We can maybe say edge slide here, so we're moving these vertices along the topology as it already exists without really changing the shape too much. Move these up. And then to anticipate that we might be creating an animation like this in the future, we might want to texture this version so that we don't have this stretching of the UVs here. I'm going to just continue, and at this time I'm going to turn off edge slide and continue to close this eye. Maybe move these out. Select this edge loop again and move it out a bit more, and then we can scale it down. Um, Back in. Okay, and then for the interest of time, just kind of clean up this bottom lid a bit, move them all in. This is why having a model that has clean topology, but also relatively low poly, it makes the final animation process a lot easier and smoother because we are not messing with too many vertices all at once. So something like blend shapes becomes a little bit more manageable if we have lower poly model to work with. We also might want to be working with smooth selection, or sorry, soft selection here to make some of these adjustments. It might, if you do have a higher density model, then that would be a good way to kind of be working with, making some adjustments, but having them affect neighboring vertices. Okay, so in the interest of time, that'll be our blink here for this gecko, and we will then here go to our animation editors and our shape editor again. We'll select this geometry, and then we'll shift and select this geometry, and we'll say create blend shape. And now we can see how this blend shape is mapping onto this original model, and we can set keys for this as well. Okay, so that covers blend shapes in Maya.